Greetings and salutations. How art thou? Less than highly favored. And if you're not, you're about to be, you see. We're going to start it off like this. Good evening, spirit. Good evening, spirit. Good evening, spirit. Evening, spirit. I know, but y'all know y'all hear it. Good evening, spirit. Spirit guides, ancestors, angels, lords, and the orishas that guard and protect me. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How art thou? Mm-hmm. I told you your girl was back in full effect. Y'all thought I was lying. Okay, come on now. Somebody say somebody say somebody say something. Somebody say something. Okay. Um, I do pray that these sparks of inspiration that I'm currently getting that they be a mainstay and that I don't have to go back on such a long sabbatical because I missed y'all just as much as you missed me. So that's the prayer. But you gotta obedience is greater than sacrifice. So when I'm called to, I'm going to make sure that I'm obedient. The message here, because we're gonna get straight into it, while your girl make her good old little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Amen. Two of them at the end. Two of them. Double up. Um, the message today is covens and covenants. Okay. What coven have you taken? And you know exactly what I'm referring to. What oath have you abide by? Have you tied yourself to? Have you become a dedicated servant to? And once you have that answer, the next question will be for what reason? Because, oh, you naive, sweets, you. Coven is one of the very base words of covenant. And when you align yourself with the covenant, you're also linking and binding yourself to a covenant, whether that is through active participation or through by way of manipulation and coercion on the behalf of those who are already a part of that covenant and seeking to recruit you to siphon your energy. Covens are ran by witches and warlocks, if you did not know. And I'm a native to Houston, Texas. Didn't I didn't I wasn't flued here. I grew here, which means that I knew Houston when Astrodome and Six Flags Astroworld was still present. I knew Houston when Funplex was still a place to come for the kids to gather and socialize. I knew Houston when we was still thugging and bugging at the skating rink on the weekend and teen clubs and shit. That's the Houston that I speak on when I say that I grew here. Um, so I've been able to watch it transition in the way that it has from it being majority of those who are natives to the land, or whose people came and established grounds here, to Houston in Katrina era. uh, and then after Katrina, Harvey. I have been here my entire life. And seeing the transition of it go from being a place where community was upheld, where everybody knew those that lived in their neighborhood, and not only knew them, but were well and prone to helping where they saw a need, were about actively benefiting those around them in ways where if they was eating, then others around them were eating too. To watch it go from what I've known it to be, and it wasn't perfect by no means. We've always had our flaws. Of course, any metropolitan city will. But watch it go from being a place where your grandmother was everybody's grandmother on the block to the grandmothers are no longer present in the familial systems because they're dying early, or they're raising kids that are not their kids. And then deciding that they no longer want to be a part of a system that was fucked up to begin with, and then disappearing on everybody, crawling into a little hole and allowing themselves to have some form of peace before they go and meet their maker. So to see it go from that to this place where all of these alternative ways of living are being upheld, which isn't necessarily such a bad thing because I feel like everybody have their right to find their way in the world. But when I say alternative, I mean even the ways of seeking to gain power and manipulation over others and using religion or the lack thereof to do so. Because as much as we may not want to acknowledge it, witchcraft has its own way of aligning with religion. And I won't get into the history of where that comes from, but it does stem from the most well known religion, which is Christianity. Studies to show that self approved. So please go and do your own research on that regard because, as I mentioned, this is not a lesson in time about that. I just come to deliver the message to you because that's what was given to me. When you took on that covenant, you became a part of the covenant. Whether you believe that to be truth or not is not up for debate at this very present. I'm telling you because that's what it is. And it don't make me nothing of what you choose to do with your own spiritual essence in regards to your soul. If you want to be a part of a coven, by all means do so. But do it knowingly and do it with awareness of how that's going to impact not only you but everything else that is connected to you as well. You want to know why things in your life are going astray, awry, why there's so much confusion and chaos and foolery just running amok and wreaking havoc on your peace of mind because of what you have tied yourself to. And the reason as to why you did it is your reason and your reason alone. I'm not here to play your mama. I'm not here to cosplay as your grandmother. I'm not here to be Auntie Sue Nim and tell you right from wrong and how to align your morality system. I'm just here to deliver the message as the messenger that I am. You're going to go through a lot more hell than you ever will be able to see the side of heaven because of what you have linked and bonded yourself to actively and what you refuse to acknowledge it to be because you don't want to believe yourself to be that naive to get coerced or deluded into something such. But you have. Why do you think that it's so many that are included? You think that that's just by coincidence and it's just because it's it's so divine and such of God and that everybody is in on it? Come on now, you know better than that. You know that the real things that are of the divine and that are extensions of God are few and far between. It's not going to be the majority. But instead of you acknowledging that and then reforming and repenting of your sinful ways, you're going to turn a blind eye and actively be deaf, dumb, and blind to it because knowing that you are practicing witchcraft is not going to allow you to sleep peacefully at night, especially if you're someone who was raised in the church and that was the main lesson that they taught you from adolescence, which was to banish evil and to call upon righteousness. But you, my good sweets, walked into the very trap that was set for you, knowing that it was a trap. And then once you were bound, saying, "Well, God, it's me. What is happening to my life?" You happened to your life. The moment that you made that choice to be a participant, to be a faithful servant to be a sheep of the fold, let me tell you something that you already know, but you just need to be reminded of. You can get down to your bare knuckles in life. I mean, you cannot have shit. You can lose everything. And I do mean everything. You can lose family, friends, your possessions, your job, hell, even lose your goddamn mind. But at the end of all of that, what you're going to always have is a choice. You're always going to have a choice. And that is the most beautiful thing about free will that we're provided by the Most High is that in every single setup, every single situation, every single circumstance, your choice is going to always be at the end of it all. And what you choose to do with that choice can either shape and make you or break you. And my good baby, you're being broken from the inside out. But it's because that's what you dedicated yourself to doing. You really believed them when they told you that they were going to break you down to be a better woman or a better man and build you up anew in God. That was never the plan. And you knew it going into it. And how do you unravel yourself from it? You got to go back to the basics. The very parts of you that they told you to deny. You got to go over there and talk to them dead people and conjure them up and see if they would be willing. 'Cause let's be very clear, they don't have to do shit for you. But if they would be so gracious enough and merciful enough to help you out of what you put yourself in. And I'm not going to lie to you. If this is your first time at the rodeo, they will more than likely show you grace and mercy because they know that you know not what you do. But if you've been back around this mountain more than once, more than twice, hell, more than 3 times, more than thrice, I don't know if they would be so willing to help you out of something that you continuously say that you didn't know was happening, but you somehow find yourself in on a numerous occasions. So that's one thing that you can't lie to the unseen about. They already know. So if I were you, I would just get to doing my due diligence, performing my cleansing work, fasting, giving over my charitable donations, speaking to the unseen who have went before me, and then prayerfully, maybe just maybe, the Most High will be accepting and willing to hear out your case in spiritual court and ruling your verdict. But only if you are going to show contrition for what you've done and you're willing to recalibrate and realign yourself back into the path that you were originally supposed to be on in the first place, that you already were on, but you took a detour because you thought that it was going to get you somewhere quicker, only for you to get to a dark space where there is no light shining anywhere. That crying out hurt, don't it? Especially when you were so boastful, braggadocious, and prideful about what you were doing, what you were a part of. And you condemned those who knew better, telling them that they were going to see the pits of the fire when really it was you. When really you are seeing the pits of the fire in real time. Now having to tuck that tail back into your back between those legs of yours and go before the one that you said that you didn't need anymore. Oh, how those tables turn. It was cool until it wasn't it? That's how I usually go. And I'm not making fun of you because I believe that this is something that you're so deserving of. Like I mentioned, if this is your first time at the rodeo and you have not set a tone before this, then you really knew not what you were doing. And you did it more than likely out of a fallible heart, which we've all done before. Even the most righteous and the most spiritually inclined has fallen short of the Most High, most definitely. But if you are a repeat offender, baby, this is where you want to be. So don't come crying to those like me talking about how you need to people are casting and and hexing and placing spells on you. Nah, baby, you did that to thyself. And now you're having to reap what you've sown. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and you put that crown right on, didn't you? Now it's damn near impossible to take it off because your head got to come with it as well, and you ain't ready for that. But you was all too willing to be baptized in the blood of. That's the end of the message. I am the Summoning Queen, the Conjuress, the Prophetess, the motherfucking me litany. Godspeed.